In the North Sea, the crew of the Kinloch Bravo oil rig is getting ready to finally go home after months of grueling work. Spirits are high, the air is filled with relief and anticipation, but the calm is quickly shattered when Magnus, the rig manager, receives a call from the company. The news isn't good. The helicopters have been diverted to help the North Kilscore platform after a power failure, and no one knows when they'll be able to evacuate his crew. Magnus tries to get more details, but the phone suddenly cuts off, leaving him frustrated and anxious. Communications start failing all over the rig. Kat's call with her wife freezes mid-conversation, and Fulmer struggles to get the main radio working. Panic starts creeping in as the crew realizes they're essentially cut off from the outside world. Magnus calls a meeting, announcing that everyone will have to wait indefinitely for evacuation. Lars, already tense, demands a proper explanation, but the uncertainty only fuels frustration among the crew. Suddenly, the entire rig goes dark. Fulmer discovers that all generators are down. The battery backup keeps essential systems running for now, and the production module is maintaining its pressure, but any spike could prove deadly. Fulmer attempts to contact the standby vessel, but the radio remains unresponsive, and nearby platforms seem to be facing the same mysterious communication failures. The rig shakes violently, and flames begin erupting from the production module. Rose, the company representative, hesitates to shut it down, worried about quotas and profits, but Magnus prioritizes the crew's safety over the company's demands and orders an emergency shutdown. At that moment, a thick, unnatural fog envelops the entire rig, moving fast and dense, creating a surreal and frightening scene. Fulmer manages to restore partial power, but communications remain dead. Helicopters can't land in this weather, leaving the crew stranded. Alwyn suggests that perhaps excessive drilling caused a seismic event, but Rose dismisses the theory, insisting there's no way their operations could trigger anything like that. Magnus decides that restoring communications is their priority and sends Fulmer and Baz to inspect the radio tower. At the top of the tower, tensions boil over. Fulmer snaps when Baz accuses him of betraying the team due to his relationship with Rose. Baz quickly apologizes, but the moment of calm is brief. Fulmer discovers a dead seagull on the floor. Moments later, Baz falls from the tower, leaving Magnus and Lars horrified at the base. Kat and Rose rush to assist, while Fulmer explains he doesn't know how Baz fell, but Lars notices the harness was unclipped, and distrust begins to grow. Baz is taken to the medical bay, stabilized by Kat, but there's no surgical option, and Lars grows increasingly frantic over the impossibility of rescue. Rose brings Magnus to the computer to show that the pipelines have lost pressure entirely, meaning all rigs in the area are affected. Baz awakens and begins experiencing terrifying visions of the rig falling apart under the sea. Lars storms Magnus's office, furious, and discovers a private company memo that confirms management has been lying from the start. The crew gathers on the helideck, where Magnus is forced to admit that the company plans to abandon the oil field, leaving everyone unemployed. Ash begins to fall from the sky, though they are nowhere near a volcano, further deepening the mystery. Baz shows up, warning that it's too late, it's already started, before passing out. He later awakens in the infirmary, revealing strange visions and violent reactions to attempts at treatment, claiming a wave is coming. Kat manages to sedate Baz temporarily, but she and Rose notice his wounds are healing unnaturally fast. Baz continues observing himself, discovering glowing spores working on his injuries. Meanwhile, in the rec room, the crew spots the standby vessel, which seems lost and requesting help. Magnus instructs Fulmer to respond using deck lights, while he begins rationing supplies with cooked merch. Tensions rise as Lars grows unhinged from confinement, and Baz experiences further visions while undergoing physical transformations, including his gold tooth pushing outward. Rose analyzes the falling ash and identifies it as a parasitic spore capable of repairing living hosts. Magnus authorizes her to take blood samples from the crew to compare to Baz, realizing that the spores are a dangerous living threat that must be studied carefully. The fog begins to clear, revealing that neighboring rigs have been destroyed. Baz refuses help from Fulmer, taking his own blood sample to understand the spore's connection. Magnus organizes the crew to disinfect the rig and locate Baz, while Rose uncovers fossilized spores that should have been extinct, awakened by deep drilling. Baz, now fully healed, experiments with the spore, infecting water tanks and growing plants rapidly across the rig. James, a crew member, becomes infected, losing a tooth and beginning to spread the infection. The rig trembles, and Magnus pulls Fulmer out of isolation to restore power, while Heather tracks Baz into the mud pit where the spore is proliferating. Baz reveals he has a memory from millions of years ago and believes the rig must be defended or everyone will die. James joins Baz, escalating the danger further, while Heather and Lars attempt rescues. Fulmer and the team disconnect the flare from electricity to prevent an explosion, risking exposure to the spores. Fulmer is burned during the operation but survives, while Baz's visions intensify, revealing he believes the rig itself is under attack. He attempts to bypass safety systems directly, causing pressure spikes that threaten to destroy the rig. Rose, Magnus, and Fulmer strategize to regain control without worsening the infection. The crew realizes the secret Project Seer containers contain carbon dioxide designed to neutralize Baz, but the chemical is lethal, killing infected crew members rather than incapacitating them. Fulmer and Baz pass out as Coke manipulates the ventilation system to enforce the company's plan, resulting in several deaths. Magnus and Rose intervene, while the ventilation system is manually shut down to save remaining crew members.
As the spores react to human contact, Baz awakens alongside Fulmer. Together, they escape the mud pit as the last ring of spores closes underwater. Magnus learns that Koki deliberately escalated the testing, causing rig destruction to survive, leaving people behind, and that the company intended to exterminate the spore to preserve oil profits. Magnus, Rose, and Fulmer understand that conventional attacks won't stop the spore, necessitating communication with Baz instead. Baz senses the spore being shut out, triggering an earthquake. Fulmer uses a plant to connect with Baz's mind, observing that the spores intend to trigger a catastrophic oceanic slide. Rose explains the spore is a global network threaded through the seafloor, and attacking it directly would be ineffective. The team decides to rely on Baz to communicate and negotiate with the spore through his bond. Magnus, Rose, and Fulmer enter the pit to find Baz distraught, claiming he failed. Koki attempts to manipulate events from the helideck, aiming to escape while causing an explosion. Harish activates microphones to record Koki's confessions for all to hear, revealing his intention to destroy the rig to cover the company's malfeasance. Earthquakes intensify as the rig begins breaking apart around them. Koki runs to the helideck, intending to flee, but Lars arrives seeking revenge. Kat and Heather intervene, and Harish confirms the explosion has been stopped. Magnus, Rose, and Fulmer evacuate via helicopter while Baz stays behind, demonstrating humanity's capacity for cooperation with the spore. A tsunami strikes, destroying the rig completely, and Baz becomes one with the spore, embodying a living network beneath the sea. Kat notices the tsunami approaching the city, desperate to warn citizens, but the pilots restrain her. The wave hits, killing her wife, leaving a devastating personal loss in the midst of global catastrophe. The survivors watch from the helicopter as the sea claims everything, realizing that nature, awakened by human greed and manipulation, has exacted a terrifying and unstoppable vengeance. The Kinloch Bravo crew's ordeal ends with a stark lesson that humanity's interference with natural systems has catastrophic consequences. Baz's fusion with the spore symbolizes the incomprehensible power of nature and the limits of human control. Magnus, Rose, and Fulmer are left to survive and comprehend the scale of what has occurred, forever changed by the rig's destruction. In the aftermath, the survivors reflect on the hubris of their industry, the secrets the company hid, and the lives lost due to greed and fear. The rig's destruction and the spread of the spore emphasize the fragility of human systems in the face of nature's deep, ancient intelligence. They realize the battle between human industry and primordial life is ongoing, with consequences reaching far beyond their understanding. Ultimately, the story closes on a tragic and awe-inspiring note. Baz, becoming one with the spore, represents both the danger and the potential for symbiosis. The tsunami that devastates the city shows the unstoppable force of awakened nature, and the surviving crew must reconcile with what they've seen. Human life continues, but the rig and its crew are forever marked by this unprecedented event, a stark warning of the delicate balance between human ambition and the natural world. The final scenes show the survivors beginning the long process of recovery, mourning lost friends, and grappling with the scale of ecological disaster. Magnus, Rose, and Fulmer are left to navigate a changed world, carrying the knowledge of the spore and the lessons of greed, survival, and cooperation. The rig's destruction is complete, but the living network beneath the ocean remains, an ominous reminder of forces far beyond human control. The story ends with Baz integrated into the spore, a fusion of human and ancient organism, leaving viewers to ponder the implications. Magnus, Rose, and Fulmer escape immediate death, but the world they return to is changed, illustrating that humanity's recklessness in pursuit of profit can awaken powers far older and more dangerous than itself. This is a tale of survival, sacrifice, and the unstoppable force of nature. The legacy of Kinloch Bravo is etched in memory and tragedy. While the immediate threat ends, the spore's awakening suggests a continuing global risk, and the survivors' experiences serve as a cautionary tale. Human ingenuity is challenged by ancient forces, and the balance between exploitation and respect for natural systems becomes painfully clear. The narrative closes on a somber reflection. Nature has reclaimed control, leaving destruction and loss in its wake. Survivors confront their own limitations, grief, and the reality that some forces, once awakened, cannot be contained. The story of Kinloch Bravo is not just a disaster tale, but a meditation on human ambition, environmental fragility, and the consequences of tampering with life beyond understanding. The last frame lingers on the ocean, calm yet ominous, holding Baz and the spore beneath its surface. The surviving crew aboard the helicopter looks back at the ruined rig, carrying the weight of what they've endured. Humanity remains, but the lesson is clear. Nature's power is ancient, intelligent, and relentless, and survival requires respect, adaptability, and humility in the face of forces beyond comprehension.